Hello, Dan.
Hello, and welcome back to another iRWC Porsche Cup video. Round 3 this week at Jerez. Getting straight into that quali lap, as always. Getting a good run. This was, really early in quali. In fact, my third lap out on track. Pretty happy with it. There was a little bit more time in it, but overall, a pretty solid lap. Pushing pretty hard, giving us that usual hour and a half of practice. I like Jerez. It's a very fun track to drive. And this was a really fun round with a lot of fun battles and some good driving. Bit of strategy at play during the race. This evening we had a full-length 1-hour feature race. Getting straight into it. With the long race. They're really tough, kind of like an enduro, but still classified as a sprint, I guess, in those kind of terms, but more of the endurance side. Coming to the back end of the lap now, going through the double right. A lot of people have a lot of trouble with these corners. We get nice and smooth onto the power, avoiding those sausage curbs on the inside. Big lift, little tap of the brakes, getting right outside. Careful not to dip a tire onto that gravel, using all the track we can. There's a little bit more that we can use. Down into second gear into the last corner. You can see we gain a little stutter on the exit. And we lose about a 10th on the exit there, which does put us with that 38.056.
Third lap.
Pretty good, but as you will see now, Dylan Shepherd goes to pole with 3 minutes 40 in the session. On to the feature race. Now, we had a strategy with the long races. I like to do a bit of a fuel save. I think Dylan was more after the full send strategy and just go balls to the wall to the end. But as we go green, we get a pretty decent start. Coming over to the right, we decide to stick to that outside line. Brake nice and late. We managed to get alongside through turn 1. It's going to be neck and neck through the corner. We decide to lift early and let him have that position just to utilize that draft. But it is not over yet. We are going to continue to put the pressure on, having to do a little lift on the exit of turn 3. Can we continue to keep the pressure on? That is going to be the question. Trying to manage that fuel and trying to manage the pressure is the name of the game in these long races. Of course, the safety car will be in play at some point. We always know that with these iRWC rounds. But it is how long we can go to utilize that fuel consumption and keep those eyes forward. Luke Page is behind us, putting the pressure on us, but my eyes were darted forward. I had no thoughts about the cars behind. Different lines taken by myself and Dylan. I opted for more of a formula line, taking the late apexes, as that's kind of where I've driven this track most, or what I've driven this track most in, rather, is formula cars. So getting back used to those Porsche Cup cars was a bit different, and I probably could have taken a couple of different lines. The tires as well in these long races really need to last, because in these iRWC races the fuel and tires are done separately, so you can't take them at the pit stop at the same time as your fuel. If you do, you will be waiting a very long time, as we get in now actually to turn them off in that case, getting the fronts done, and eventually we will get those rears done as well, while trying to keep that pressure on and keep that fuel save. I don't have it up on the footage, but I do have a fuel calculator up on my screen, and I watch it like a hawk, comparing it to the 5-lap average, the last lap, and the qualifying fuel to make sure that we have enough fuel to go to the end. Trying to keep that pressure, and you see we take a little bit of a late line, a little bit of a moment from Dylan there, but he gathers it up very nicely. We get a little bit on the gravel there. We may have to go defensive. Luke gets a very good run. He's going to be 0.2 behind. Has a look up the inside. He's going to have a little bit of a lunge. We do that nice lift and coast and manage to keep that position. Yeah, fun racing. This has been a very fun league for the last 3 rounds. We didn't have a race this past week as we had Australia Day, so a nice little break. Next round will be at Motegi over on Twitch, so I hope to see you guys over there on Mondays. Yeah, Motegi should be a good one. I don't know how many people know that track. I know I do not know it very well, so it'll be an interesting round. We'll try and just salvage what we can get, as Dylan is having a bit of connection issues in front. I thought I might get lucky and he might end up blinking out. I wasn't too phased, but it's always a bit enticing when you see that happen to your competitor, because you know you might get a free position. Just keeping that pressure on now, still holding that 0.3, 0.2 gap. Still doing that lift and coast, breaking that little bit later to keep the pressure on through the corners onto lap 3 now. And you can just see there is a line of 5 cars behind. It is from Dylan all the way down to Angus Lawford in 5th, all doing within a 10th of each other on the lap times. We're all so evenly matched as Dylan has a little bit of a moment, has to get on the brakes on the exit, and we probably could have had a look up the inside there, but I decided to just play it conservative and just keep it under wraps and keep the fuel save on. We still don't see Dylan fuel saving in front, as we see a little bit start to fuel save there, as yeah, we continue on putting on that pressure. If you guys are enjoying the content as I am enjoying making it, please make sure to give the video a like and subscribe. It is very much appreciated, and yeah, hit that bell notification as well to be notified when these videos come out. I've been a little bit inconsistent, but I am hoping to hopefully get these out on Fridays or Saturdays to make sure that they're out for the weekend. And yeah, it's been a lot of fun making these. I'm really enjoying as we get a little bit of an off track, but you can see Dylan has a little bit of a moment on exit as we gain that time back once again into the braking zone, and it was really a matter of just staying with him. That's all we wanted to do here. And I think it was about lap 4 where I noticed there, as you can see, he starts to drop back and he starts to fuel save with me. A little bit late in my opinion. Moving on to lap 12 now. I believe there was an incident at some point where someone's wheel disconnected, and they absolutely sent themselves into the wall.
The guy in front has cooked the tires?
Almost halfway, a little bit less than halfway through.
He's definitely pushing a bit more than I am.
Yeah, someone in chat asking about cooked tires, and I actually had no idea. I really couldn't tell. I think it was really the fact that we were just taking different lines into the corners. And another reason why I was doing that is to try and keep that dirty air off the front of the car, because it's so bad. As soon as you get any amount of dirty air, it just pushes. So having to back off and fuel save was kind of a little bit of a way for me to
cook that up.
To just ease into it and not overdrive the car and try and keep those tires together, as we do make a little bit of a mistake there, getting a couple of off tracks and really abusing those track limits, are starting to drop back to about 0.5 on the relative. And yeah, he starts to pull away just a little bit, 2/10 that last lap. I mean, everyone was quicker on that last lap. We really slowed up, really costly mistakes, starting to fall out of a bit of a rhythm. Need to find and get back into it now and keep pushing. Cars in front. Here it is, actually. It's coming up now. You will see Jack Anderson in front of us is going very slow. He's just come out the pits and bang. There it is, straight into the wall. Yeah, big wheel disconnect. You can see just how fast he ends up in the wall there. And yeah, unfortunate for him, that was his night done. He couldn't get the wheel working again, which is very unfortunate.
That's a tow.
Reports it in to race control, as obviously he can't tow the car. And very shortly, there will be a safety car called. But until then, it is still racing on. You can see, confirmed by him, his wheel disconnected. Obviously not trying to cause a safety car or anything. We get a little bit on the sausage curb there. Still trying to keep that pressure on. We've gained a little bit of time back, but just trying to keep the pressure on a little bit on the gravel there. We copy him and go follow him through, do the same, as we still just drop back that little bit, kind of get forward, back, as We're still dropping that little bit of time. It's a second back now to Luke Page, so it's just us and Dylan as we come on to lap 13. Still pushing a little bit more than we usually would.
Don't worry about it.
Try to manage that fuel consumption. And the safety car is called inevitably. So we kind of knew it was coming. We get straight on to the fuel saving. Let him go forward.
We are going to box.
And yes, we are indeed going to box at the end of this lap. As coming into the box, we get right up the back of Dylan Shepherd. As we almost get into the back of him, braking very late for the pit entry. I don't know if anyone knows, but you can spam the shifters, go up into first and second, and it does give you a little bit of speed advantage, but I do believe they have outlawed that in this league. So with our fuel save, we're just trying to fill the tank right up. It's usually a two-stop race in these hour-long races. So we want to take fuel all the way to the limit, which is about 40%, 35%. Get to that 38.5, and because we have been fuel saving, we managed to get out in front.
Bum. And that's what saving gets you. A much quick pit stop.
That is exactly right. Because we have saved, we managed to get that quicker pit stop, and coming to the end of the safety car, we have been doing a lot of weaving, trying to keep these tyres in a decent pressure range. Very difficult when you're going that slowly at around 80 Ks, as we are going to back the field up, get everyone nice and toasty, and wait for that safety car to be called into pit lane. Sitting on that 80 km/h mark, just going to wait, just going to be patient, and we're just going to wait and build the suspense. Safety car's in pit lane. We build that suspense, wanting to go as late as possible. A lot of people go on the exits of corners, and you will see that Dylan gets into the back of us there, pushes us, and we decide to just go green and get a decent jump. I wasn't expecting it that late. I was hoping to push it a little bit later, but we pop it a little bit early. Still doing that fuel save into turn 1. Down into second gear. We missed the apex a little bit. Tires just not in that window that we want. Dylan has a look up the inside. Can't get the move done. He's well far back. And we manage to hold on to first place on these opening laps, trying to form a bit of a gap behind. Now, can we do it? I don't know, as Dylan has a big moment onto the gravel. That was a big confidence boost for myself. But again, we're doing that fuel save. With him pushing, we have to not put a single foot wrong, and we have to continue to manage the fuel perfectly. Lifting at that 200, braking at the 100. The braking's much better this week. I was a lot more refreshed, ready to go for this race. And yeah, looking forward now, not even looking behind me. At a 0.7 gap, I was feeling very confident. And yeah, just trying to manage that gap. Dylan was just on it this evening in particular, and he was just hounding us down. And yeah, I really struggled to even pull away from him, but we managed to hold that gap at 0.7 as we come into the final double right, lifting very early, getting on the power, and yeah, using all of that track, trying to manage the gap up to 0.8 into the braking zone. You're always going to gain when you're in the draft. It's very easy to gain under brakes because you have that little bit extra overspeed. But yeah, trying to manage that gap. I start to see that 0.8, 0.7, and I'm thinking, okay, we can pull away here, but just with that fuel save, we're probably not going to be able to pull away as much as I'd like, as Dylan will begin to put on the afterburners very shortly, as yeah, just trying to keep it clean, minimize the bouncing, and try and be as consistent as possible. That first lap, 3/10 quicker than Dylan behind, obviously with him going off. And yeah, we're just trying to make sure that we have got the car under control as we get a little bit wide there. Dylan ends up on the gravel, so once again, pushing the limits of these cars. He's really pushing to stay with us, as he's now 0.5, 0.4, 0.3 on the apex of the hairpin, as he really is pushing to stay with us now. And yeah, he's he's getting really, really close, and I'm starting to drive. Keep an eye on that relative, because it is really coming down. He is really putting the pressure on, and it is going to get very spicy with about, what's that, 17 laps to go, thereabouts, if there's no safety car. So we're just trying to manage that gap and manage that fuel. We want that last stop to be as little as possible, utilizing that strategy of going long. And yeah, you can see he's really pushing the braking now, really getting right under the rear of the car. The gap's now down to 0.3. So Dylan Shepherd really, really pushing on these laps as we move on from lap 18 to lap 21. 0.3 back for Dylan Shepherd. 0.2. Is he going to have a look this time? He is! He has a massive lunge up our inside. We're still going to be fuel saving. We're going to power out. We're going to stay side by side on the exit of the corner. Side by side through the next left-hander. He's going to keep his nose in on the right-hand side. And we can't get alongside. He's out-braked us on the next left-hander. Manages to keep it on the outside. This is incredible driving and racecraft as he manages to stay side by side. We managed to hold it off. I'm ahead into the next corner, but I know that I can't hold it on that outside as there's just right-handers coming up, so we concede the position. And yeah, a lot of fighting. And Dylan, I think that was the right call from him, to be honest, because the fuel save was kind of backing him up into Angus Lawford. You can see there as they're right back in another line as it's down to Ryan Mueller,
really
down in 5th now, up 9 positions. As, yeah, I was quite happy to just sit behind. We managed to fuel save a little bit more with the slipstream, and the braking there gave me the confidence to just think that I could stay with him and we could probably get a decent result in this race. But Angus Lawford behind decides to have other thoughts as we continue our fuel saving strategy. A little bit of a moment there as we try to fuel save as much as possible. Getting a decent run through the next corner, probably missing the apex just a little bit, getting on power. Decent exit.
Yeah, exactly.
Are we able to utilize that slipstream? We're going to lift at the 200 as normal. Angus Lawford's going to have a look at us up the inside, gets alongside, we make a little bit of rubbing, a little bit of contact on the exit. We manage to stay in front as Angus drops back
to save though,
and yeah, kind of puts us under a little bit of pressure. I start driving in my mirrors just that little bit,
but in fact,
and Dylan starts to push away. As, yeah, these boys were not happy as Jake Edwards, pushes through as those OPR boys like to send those cars up the inside. And, hey, I did it last week, so there's nothing egregious there. It was a pretty clean move. And there's a bit of foreshadowing there as we make a big mistake getting on the gravel there. And that 0.4 gap drops to 0.6. And, yeah, we start to lose track a little bit of Dylan and lose that rhythm. Start to look behind Jake Edwards, 0.5. That gap is smaller than it is in front, so we need to keep our eyes forward. I'm looking at that fuel consumption number, trying to make sure as we start to push a little bit more. Trying to extend the strategy, but trying to stay in that draft. And it really was not the right decision. I should have kept to my usual strategy of fuel saving. Just that little bit extra push as we have a big moment on the exit of turn 3 or 4. And yeah, that completely drops us back. The tires are very, very overheated, and we get on the gravel as well, trying to stay with Dylan Shepherd. Have to go defensive. You can see the gap just dropping even more as Jake Edwards thinks about going up the inside. We brake very, very late down into first gear and managed to hold the position, parking it on that apex. And yeah, Dylan gap at 1.2. Think I can get back with him, just probably abandoning that fuel save just a little bit. But yeah, should have just stuck with it and stuck to the guns. But yeah, the pressure was applied very well from Jake Edwards behind us and put me completely out of rhythm as we try and push a little bit more to try and get back in that draft of Dylan in front. And you can see the gap is just extending that little bit more each corner we go through, and it's very, very hard to catch back up as one goes into the pits there. I believe it is Angus Lawford into the pits, trying to get a big undercut.
Well, thanks for stopping by, mate.
On to lap 30 now, and this is where it all matters. Has the fuel save been enough? The two boys, OPR boys, are going to be into the pits. Dylan goes into the pits in front of us. Jake Edwards behind us. And I have a look at the fuel number, and you can see it's at 1.1. The fuel usage is very, very, very tight. You can see as we come across the line, it goes to 0.9. That's not going to be enough to get us down that pit lane. We're going to have to fuel save like crazy, and that's not what you want to be doing on your in-lap. You can see we're doing a huge amount of lift and coast, trying to squeeze every little drop out of that fuel tank. You can just see so much coasting through this lap, having to really, really nail it if we're going to try and get out in front of Dylan Shepherd. Getting a good exit now through the corner. We managed to stay off the gravel. Probably could have got on power a little bit earlier, but we're trying to conserve that fuel. As I've said countless times, you can see huge lift and coast into every single corner. Can we make it back to the pits? That is going to be the question. You can see on the dash, 1.2 is the fuel usage now. Fuel number, sorry, 1.1. It is getting lower and lower every corner. We're now at 0.3 estimated laps. 0.3 litres of fuel is when it starts to sputter in that pit road on the track. It'll start to sputter and you'll start to lose the speed. 0.8 now, 0.7. We can't afford a sputter in pit lane. Can we make it back to pits? Yes, 0.6. We have to enter pit lane perfectly. A lift and coast even into pit lane. We brake very early, slowing it up very nicely and getting on. Probably didn't need to get on the pit limiter very early there. But, yeah, we end up doing that, and probably cost us a little bit of time, but I don't think it would have mattered in the end, as we are watching that relative as Dylan is starting to catch up. Can we get the pit stop done? I boxed. And, yeah, I had forgotten to do tires, and, yeah, just got them done, just got them unchecked as the fuel gets done. We come out of pit road as Dylan just passes us. Jake Edwards is going to be going through turn 1 as we exit pit lane. We're going to be side by side out of pit exit as we manage to get the better run with that wide exit and manage to hold him behind. Very nicely done. It was an overcut of sorts. We didn't get the position done, but we did gain a bit of time back and managed to just be in the draft of Dylan in front. But now the question is have we conserved enough tires? That's the question that we need to ask, because the fronts do not like medium speed corners. And with how many medium speed corners, you can see I'm getting frustrated there as we go defensive. And Jake is going to try and hold it around the outside. We're going to park it on that apex once again, going on the defensive, and that allows Dylan to just pull away that little bit as we manage that fuel at the same time, trying to stay with him, and I think we just let him go, because I am well aware that I'm not going to be able to stay with him at full push and me in the fuel save unless I am well within draft. And so we just focus behind us. Try and keep eyes on Jakey Edwards and keep him behind. Angus Lawford sitting at about 1.6, 1.3 behind Jake Edwards. He knows he is in this fight, as they all know that I'm probably going to be fuel saving for the rest of this race. It's very, very tight on strategy. Having to defend, manage. Where are we defending? Where are we not? 0.1 is the gap now. Jake Edwards is going to have a look. We turn in a little bit early, getting a little bit loose on the exit, missed the apex. David Uni now, the blue flag. Are we going to be able to get past him cleanly? He's going to power out of the exit. We're going to go under him. I think he's going to back out. He doesn't. We go outside and then he backs out there. Not too badly done from him, but we do lose a little bit of time as there's another blue flag in front of us who's just gone off. Still watching that gap behind. Jake taking a very late apex. Very, very late apex. Dropping back just that little bit. We use a bit of draft. We cut back. We sit in the middle. Jake's going to have a late look up the inside. Does he get the move done? No, can't get alongside as we come on the exit. And he does, yeah, pushes through the corner and through lap 34. And onto the white flag now. We are finally at the end of this hour-long race. Still within 1.1. Still tight on fuel. We have more than we did at the stop. 2.7. We can push a little bit more than we could. We have to watch behind though. 0.3, not enough. Angus Lawford, he's brought that gap down to 0.8. He is well within the draft of Jake Edwards in front. Who is going to be able to take out this P2 spot? Is it going to be us? Is it going to be Jake? Is it going to be Angus? Is Dylan going to possibly make a mistake? We see 1.0 on the relative, just outside of that draft number, and it's just not going to be enough for us. We get a decent exit out of turn 8. No, 6.
Does he go for it?
I know corner names, don't you worry. We do a bit of fuel save once again into the hairpin.
He's too far back.
As Jake is not able to have a look this time round. 0.3 now though. Gonna be 0.2 as we come through the next corner. He is right up the back of us. And if you think back to the move that got him past Angus Lawford, we decide to go defensive. We know he's not scared of having a look up the inside. He takes a normal line. We should have gone down to second gear. We blow through the corner. He gets up the inside. We can't defend it at all. There's a little bit of contact. Pushes me out onto the gravel. I wasn't happy about that. Reported it to race control. Angus Lawford tries to have a look up the inside. Little bit on the gravel there. We think about having a look up the inside. He's going to defend it. Angus Lawford's going to dive to our inside. We're going to try and hold it around the outside. Attack to defend. It's the very last corner on the last lap. Little bit of a slide. Angus Lawford, is he going to be able to get us? He's got the draft. We come across the line and we just manage to hold on to that podium.
Good finish.
Very, very close finish. Very fun last laps, and that was a very
good finish.
Very fun race, and a very fun way to finish. Having a look at the points now, straight into it. As always, we gain a little bit of points on Ryan Bettis, and yeah, pretty happy with how that round ended up. Probably could have finished in P2, but hey, that's racing. You make a split-second decision, and you screw it up sometimes. So that is how it goes. We extend the gap on Sam Mir in P4. It is kind of just between the three of us at the front. The problem is that those are two OPR boys, and we are kind of on our own in the Effect Simulations car. And yeah, on to next round at Motegi. It's going to be very, very fun, and very, very interesting. I'm really not sure how that race is going to go, but I hope to see you guys all over on Twitch. Thank you guys very much for watching, and I will catch you guys later.